All right, we are live. All right, and everyone is here. So this is the first time with Zoom, guys. So I apologize if any kinks or whatever. We're actually also trying to broadcast this in the Facebook group, which I think seems to be working. So what we're gonna do, like I said, this is the first time using Zoom for webinar. So if you guys can find the chat somewhere and start typing in the chat, I can see it's working. You guys can hear me, and everything is good to go. Yo, looks like it's working. Awesome. Jason, Eric. Great, guys. Well, I guess Zoom's pretty easy to use then. This is awesome. Glad to have everybody here today. And we are going to get after it here in just a second. Wait a few more, just like one more minute for people to get on. Joe is here. Yeah, there you go. There's also a section, a Q&A section at the top. If you guys want to click on that Q&A or wherever it is in Zoom for you, if you want to click on that Q&A, you can ask questions there and we can respond to them. Joe can respond to some and I can check them at the end because I'll primarily be going over new information that we have on all Garage Gym Athlete stuff. So glad to have you all here. Great. Good turnout this morning. All right. Well, let's get started. Let me make sure it's still working in the Facebook group. Looks like it is. Cool. All right, here we go. So first, we're going to start with updates, as we normally do. Talk about a lot of new things that we're doing with Garage Gym Athlete and just what we have going on because we've been working on a lot of cool new things. I think you guys are going to be pretty excited about. I do like to just introduce the team. We have some new Garage Gym Athletes here. Everyone knows kind of who does what. So, starting from the right, we have VD. He is the lead programmer and coach for the Shred Track right now. Kyle Schrum does a lot of our coaching. So if you're at the coaching level, he's going to do a lot of those coaching calls. Ashley is back from maternity leave, and she is helping out with nutrition and a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff right now. Joe is my right-hand man, pretty much can do anything I can do and does a lot of it. He is our chief barbell officer. And then me, I do most of the programming and run a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff and in front of the scenes stuff. So this is the team, and we are here to support you every step of the way. So if you see any of these people posting in the Facebook group, they're not just super active Garage Gym Athletes. They are members of the team, and they are here to help you with whatever you need. All right, April 2nd, 2019. We just finished recording yesterday, and I am really excited about the new Garage Gym Athlete podcast season. This is season 7, and it's going to be pretty awesome because it was interesting this time with the guests we had is a lot of people who've been around with Garage Gym Athlete training with us for like a year or longer. So a lot of very experienced, not only garage gym athletes in the sense that they work out in the garage, but also specifically with us. They have a really cool perspective on training in general. And so it was really cool to record that season. I think it's 10 new people will drop on April 2nd. So if you are not subscribed, you can go to garagegymathlete.com/podcast, and it'll have a link, no matter if you're Android, Apple, whatever, to be able to subscribe to that. And then also, if you just want to search in iTunes or, Google Play, wherever you're listening to podcasts, search for Garage Gym Athlete, you will find us, and that's what it looks like. Really excited to pump out some new season content for you guys. It's going to be really cool. All right. Everyone knows ending a cycle and going into a new cycle means Fit Week is here. It starts, the new programming is going to drop for everybody on Saturday, Sunday, depending on where you live in the world. And you know what you're going to see. It's going to be Fit Week, the new Fit Week that we did last cycle, where we kind of put everything down into 1 week as opposed to 2 weeks worth of testing. We'll be testing a lot of max lifts. We'll be testing a lot of the conditioning benchmarks, all the benchmarks that we have in our training that are most relevant right now. And we also like to call it PR week, because if you are new here and you didn't know, if you record yourself getting a PR, no matter what the PR is, whether that's a new PR on pull-ups, dips, back squat, 500-meter row, whatever it is, if you can post a video in our Facebook group we send you a PR shirt 100% for free. And I don't know who gets more excited, either us as a team, you guys as Garage Gym athletes doing the training, or the people who print and send out our shirts, because I think, we have sent out hundreds and hundreds of these shirts, and it's really cool to send out the PR shirts. So just to show you guys, what we normally do, people who have hit some pretty awesome PRs in the group. Last time we hit over 100 PRs posted in the group in less than 72 hours. And so I'm really looking forward to you guys' participation again. Posted in the group. It's motivational for everybody. We don't have really any jerks in the group, so don't get scared about posting. If there are any jerks in the group, don't worry about it. I'll make sure that they aren't a jerk anymore, remove them from the training, whatever. We have a very supportive community, and I like to keep it that way. So we want you for your PR shirt. Remember, 1 PR in the group gets you a black shirt. 5 PR gets you the red shirt. So that's how that works. 5 PRs within that training, within that testing cycle, and they can be any of them. We just need videos posted in the group. And, I'm really excited about it, guys, getting pumped for Fit Week we have coming. All right. And again, we've had a lot of people join since I officially started the webinar. We're just going over some update stuff. If you guys have questions, you can add them to the Q&A section, and I'll definitely get to them at the end. Joe can even answer them on the spot. He is here answering questions, and you guys can also go into the chat if you would like. If for any reason you get booted out or whatever, you can try coming back in, and then we are also streaming this live in the Facebook group, which I'm not really checking on, but I think it's working. So, yeah, let's go. So new stuff that we're doing at Garage Gym Athlete. I think, we're always trying to improve. We're always trying to provide better systems and things for you guys, upgrades, and everything to make sure that you are, getting the best programming, but also utilizing the programming, seeing the results that you want, and sticking to things. And so we're always trying to provide and brainstorm new resources. We don't want to get stagnant in what we provide to our members, and we want to make sure that you guys are very well taken care of. So what do we have? The first thing is a new goal system. We beta tested this with about 100 athletes last year. It wasn't working out, didn't work how I wanted to. There were a bunch of errors, but the reason we beta tested it was to find out where it was going to fail, and it failed, but I got all the kinks worked out, and we are really excited to release this one. So a lot of new things are going to kick off at the beginning of the new cycle. Don't get overwhelmed about how to access these or what you need to do. We'll send out an email. We'll post it in the Facebook group, very like step 1, step 2 type stuff. And this is all really easy, simple stuff, but I know you guys are going to want to know, like, okay, how do I access it? Well, it's all going to kick off towards the end of Fit Week, where you can just focus on getting your nutrition, getting your training in, and hitting those PRs during Fit Week. Then you can get wrapped into our goal system. So what the goal system does, a bunch of studies have been done. If you write down your goal, they say that you're 39.5% more likely to succeed if you just write it down. So that's a big push I want for everyone to do this cycle, is to write down one goal. You can write down more goals if you want, but I want you to have one written goal, whether that's a certain body fat percentage, you want to PR pull-ups, you want to PR your back squat, you want to move 2 categories from the established level up to the competitor level in our training. Whatever your goal is, I really want you to try and focus on setting a goal. Because one overwhelming thing I get, if you guys have listened to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast season after season, one question I ask everybody is, okay, what's your goal right now? And a lot of times the response is, I don't really have a goal. I just want to be fit, healthy, well-rounded. And that's fine. Like, I think that's an overall, like, hey, you want to be fit, healthy for your kids. You want to be active and be able to do things. That's great. But like, I'm just asking you this cycle, that's a great overarching goal. Try and pick one goal below that. Like, okay, fit, healthy, awesome. Now what's next? Like, is there one, PR, one performance metric that you can pick out, or something that's really important to you and be like, yes, I want to do this. Maybe it's an overall consistency level for, I want to hit 80% of all the workouts, 90% of all the workouts. I want to go perfect. I want to hit 100% of all the workouts, something like that. Now that makes you 39.5% more likely just writing it down. Now, individuals with written goals and weekly accountability are almost 80% more likely to succeed. And so, That's crazy. And that's what the goal system is about. We're doing it primarily through email because that's the best way for us to really communicate with you guys. So what we're going to do, we're kind of calling it choose your own adventure. You can, select your goal. You pick your goal. You're going to write it in your own words. We're going to remind you about your goal every single week, but then we'll start doing goal check-ins. Like, okay, how far are you, in your progress to meeting this goal? And then you can, click these buttons in the email, and it'll, if you need help, you can get help from a coach. If you need to change the goal, you can change the goal, whatever. But the thing is, we want to keep you on track for 12 full weeks during the cycle. And this is something that will evolve each cycle. And our goal really is just to keep you involved in hitting the goals that you want to see. And if you have any questions about how do I set a good goal, like what should I do? I did a Facebook Live in the Facebook group talking about SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. You guys can go in the Facebook group, watch that live. I think it's just titled Straight Up Goals. You can go to the video section and watch that if you need some help setting a goal. And I highly recommend it this time around. Okay, upgrades to your membership. So a few different things that we're doing. A lot of people, we have always split out all of the one-man systems and Garage Gym Athlete kind of separate. And so what we're doing is anyone who is a current Garage Gym Athlete member, we will be adding what we call the light versions of those programs into your accounts at the start of the new cycles. Now, it's not for you to necessarily not be on a new cycle and do one of these programs in the membership library, but you'll have access to it. And so we just want to let you know how we're doing that. And it's not like One Man One Barbell is a beast. It just has like all of these resources. We're not going to just throw all that into your account. What we're adding is like a day or week one, day one type program that you can follow. So variations and versions of the programs, not the full on resources that they, otherwise you would have to pay for. That way, if you want to hop off and need to hop on one of those programs for whatever reason you can, that's just going to be included with the membership and something that you guys can look forward to will be loading in your accounts. And then a few other things for anyone who's like really like, you love our training or whatever, we are introducing our annual memberships. We're going to email you guys out about that. Not a lot to talk about there. It's just going to save you a couple of months worth of monthly fees if you want to sign up. If you're someone who's like, yeah, I want to be here for a year or more, or maybe you already have and you want to save, a couple months off of your membership by paying up front, we'll be offering that. And then we'll also be adding some add-ons. Like nutrition, coaching type add-ons. If you want to work with a coach for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, we're going to let you kind of buy that stuff one-off. That way you don't have to worry about upgrades and downgrades. It'll just be a one-time purchase if you want to work with a nutrition coach. And then you guys will set a goal together, meet the goal, and then you can, keep on with your training or keep on with a coach however you want. We're just trying to make it easier for you guys to meet your goals and have the support that you need. And we have a great team in place to be able to do that. So those are kind of some of the upgrades that we're doing right now in Garage Gym Athlete. And Joe is shaking his head right now. I can see him all the way from Texas, even though he's sitting in California. App Nuggets. So I could literally not think of a better name. And to be honest, I didn't try that hard. This was the first one that came to mind. So also start at the start of the next cycle. This is just something fun that we're doing. I think it's hilarious that it's called App Nuggets. What we're going to be doing is dropping in the programming, very small little, it'll just be like a note under your back squat for the day or something like that. That's like, hey, go post this phrase in the Facebook group and you'll get a free t-shirt. We'll send you a free shirt, or we'll send you a free patch, or we'll send you a free banner, something like that. And it's just going to be hidden in the programming. You could scour through all of the programming the night the programming drops if you want. And then you can go do whatever it says, post in the Facebook group, do this, do that, or whatever. And if you do it, we're only going to do like one per week. You'll be the person who gets the free thing. So those are going to be called App Nuggets. They're going to be very sly, like put in there. Those Easter eggs that we're dropping into the programming. Man, Easter eggs might have been a better name. But App Nuggets is good with me, and we'll go with that. So yeah, it's something to look forward to. I think it's pretty cool and kind of funny, but it'll be an awesome way to get new free stuff every week. Patches, you guys have probably seen some stuff about this. There is our first prototype. So my dad, he has a laser cutting machine, and does a lot of this stuff. And I talked to him about, hey, can we put together some EO3 patches? And so we got the leather. We're actually still working on some stuff like refining the process, but we're looking to ship out a bunch of these right around the first week of the new cycle. And that's what we're doing. Just want to let you guys know. We'll probably have some other fun ways to get these too, whether the, app nuggets or, maybe we'll do some PR patches if you want to go beyond 5 PRs, things like that. Those are some other ideas we're running around, but they're fully custom, which I think is the coolest part about it. Me and my dad are actually, hand doing a lot of this stuff. We are, taking the leather, buying the leather here, taking it to his laser cutting machine, doing the templates, cutting them out, strapping the Velcro on the back, everything. They're completely handmade. And it's just something cool that we want to do and be able to provide to the members. And so, this is something that we're doing and look forward to showing you guys. Green Dot. If you've been here a while, you know all about Green Dot. We'll be kicking off Green Dot this cycle. So if you didn't know, when you complete all of your workouts, every single portion, that means you got to do the recovery game, you got to do the cool down, the warm up, you got to enter in information everywhere to get that Green Dot. But when you get that Green Dot, it goes green in the Team Builder calendar section. If you get 4 green dots, then you're going to be part of our competition. And we do more giveaways when we do Green Dot challenges, and we do a lot of fun stuff. Another way to keep you guys, accountable and getting all of that stuff done, because I'm going to ask, hey, who's participating? Okay, I'm expecting to see your green dots here in the group. And that's what we're going to be doing again here at the start of April with the new cycles, a bunch of Green Dot challenges, at least for the first month, maybe the full 12 weeks if we get enough participation. And normally we have plenty. So Green Dot Challenge is coming back, and I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys. And I know most of you are waiting for this, or a lot of you are waiting for this. Welcome to the family, Endure. It's here. The Endure track is finally here. We have 6 total tracks at Garage Gym Athlete, and we now have a track 100% dedicated to aerobic endurance, cycling, running, all of that kind of stuff, building up your engine. The biggest possible engine that we could possibly put on a human being is what we're looking to do in this track, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it today, how we're programming for it and everything. So the Endure track is finally here. And I put this one in here. I thought it was pretty fun. Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return, doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. That was by Ernest Shackleton. And I'll talk more about Shackleton later in the webinar. But that's kind of the advertisement here for Endure. If all that sounds good to you, then yes, sign up, join the Endure track, and we will be doing a lot of fun stuff with that one. Which kind of brings me to the big picture of Garage Gym Athlete. So we have one membership. It's one membership, one team, 6 tracks. You guys can switch tracks at any point in time. There's 2 ways to do this. We have a link that we have in the Facebook group. If you want to go to track changes, it's always at the top of the Facebook group. You can go to track changes, fill out that form, and we do the track changes manually. So they're not instantaneous. We actually switch you from one training track to another. And the other way to do this is if you open up your Team Builder app and you go to More, Documents and Links, there's a link there. So you can actually do it straight from the app and change your track. Right now, you're not going to see the Endure track until actually you'll see it later today where people can start switching. You'll start seeing the Endure thing in. Actually, it might already be in there. I can't remember if I changed it or not. Joe might know. But it's going to be in there. And so you'll have all 6 options. Hard to Kill is completely balanced training. Shred is more body composition, strength, raw strength, and power. Endurance is going to be balanced endurance. So when I say balanced endurance, I'm not going to leave anybody hanging, and we're not just going to become these frail, emaciated human beings running marathons. That's not exactly how we're going to do the endurance training here. We're still going to make you as well-rounded as we can, but with a heavy emphasis on endurance. 3-block track. We're doing something really cool with it this cycle. So I'll talk about that. And those are the 30-minute workouts, and then the no gear bodyweight only track. So this is Garage Gym Athlete right now. I don't foresee us adding any tracks in the near future, at least the rest of this year. But this is what we have right now. Almost any goal that you could go after, we are helping you achieve. And like I said, you can change tracks anytime to any one of these. But I do recommend just pick one and stick to it. And that's kind of why I'm here today to talk about things in this webinar. Now, one thing I put in this in the last webinar, and I just want to go over it real quick one more time because we do have a lot of new athletes and a lot of people on the webinar today. So this is Garage Gym Athlete 2019 right here. Is you are sitting there. We're the vehicle for you. And our training, what I like to tell our athletes here is our training is the gas pedal. So you just do our training. Pick one of those tracks going back, pick a track. That's your training. That's the gas pedal. Slam on that gas pedal. How do you slam on the gas pedal? You do the workouts. You stick to the program. Hit the gas pedal as hard as you can. Be consistent. Hit at least those 4 days a week. Meet yourself Saturdays are optional. Recommended, but optional. Hit those 4 days per week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can mix those days around, but hit the gas pedal. Be consistent with the training. And then your nutrition is the steering wheel. So if you want to lose some weight, if you want to gain some muscle, it's going to be heavily focused on your nutrition. That's on you to do. We have plenty of resources for you, webinars about nutrition. We have the accelerator in the members area to help you calculate your own macronutrient plan. We have the add-ons now so you can work with a nutrition coach specifically if you feel like you're not meeting your goals. But I don't ever want to leave out that nutrition piece. Nutrition, and I should really put lifestyle. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough sunshine? Are you getting enough water? How is your nutrition? All of those things factor in if you have any sort of aesthetic goal, like even performance, but aesthetic really, really, like if you want to lose weight or gain muscle, your lifestyle factors need to be so dialed in to make sure that you hit those goals and do it in an appropriate amount of time. So the steering wheel is your nutrition and our training is the gas pedal. And this is also from last webinar, but people ask me all the time, okay, which track should I do next? And this is the order of questions I think that you should answer. So where do you want to go? Like, where is it you want to go? What is your goal? Going all the way back to the beginning of the webinar, did you set a goal? Like, what is it right now? Is it a performance metric? Is it, a body fat percentage metric? What is the metric that we're trying to track? Where do you want to go? Then where do you need to go? So this is a little bit different, right? So you might want to do something, but is there like a need? Is there something that's more pressing right now? Are you, really trying to build up your entire, be really athletic, but you're just not strong right now? You're just like, okay, I need to up my back squat. Like, I'd really like to be on the enduro track, but my back squat is trash. So where do you need to go? And then where will be the most fun? Where are you going to have the most fun? Because wherever you're going to have the most fun is where you're going to stick to. And then will you arrive? So that's the biggest question, is like, you got to factor in all these things. Where do you want to go? Which is kind of correlates to where you're going to have the most fun. And then also, where do you need to go? But will you arrive at your destination? So if you pick the enduro track, but you really hate endurance training because maybe it's where you need to go, maybe your endurance engine sucks, but you're like, you know what, I probably will end up doing one workout per week and not actually following any of the training, or I'll, jump tracks a bunch of times throughout the program. If any of that's true, then you're not going to arrive at your destination. Then maybe pick something else. We have 6 different options for you, but pick something where okay, I would love to do hard to kill, but 3 block is the most realistic thing for me right now, time-wise. So I'm probably going to be on 3 block and just commit to doing 3 block. And, a cool thing about 3 block, if you are pressed for time, is that you can always just upgrade. Like, that's one track change I don't care about if you do in the middle. Like, if you were to go from 3 block, you did that for 4 weeks and you're like, you know what, I think I can handle the full hard to kill or a full shred or whatever, then jump up, that's fine. But, will you arrive? Answer all these questions in the selection of your track. And I could probably help a little bit more once we get into the different tracks. But I want to talk about a refresher, because how I'm going to explain the training this time is very different than how I've explained it in the past. I actually kind of want to give you behind the scenes of our methodology a little bit and how we program, so you guys can kind of see what we do and how we do it, how we think about athletes, how we think about programming, and how we think about you seeing your goals. So 1 block equals 10 minutes, right? We have 10-minute blocks that can be combined. So you can have 2 blocks would be like a 20-minute AMRAP, or 20-minute run would be 2 blocks. And we program 5 blocks per day. So 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. That's what we have. That's what we have to work with. That's like our building blocks as coaches and programmers to make sure that you're going to see a difference in whatever you're looking to see a difference in. But we have 20 blocks to affect change. That's what we have as programmers. I don't count Meet Yourself Saturday, because those are optionals, and sometimes those are 5 blocks, sometimes they're 3 blocks, sometimes they're 7 blocks, 9 blocks, whatever. But we look at it from our standpoint. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday to affect change in you. And that's what we're looking to do. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. We have that many blocks, 20 blocks to get it all done. And, the reason I just want to do this quick refresher is because this is what we teach to our coaches in the certification. And this is what all of our coaches do in their programming, is that this is what you have. You have 20 blocks to affect change in a human being. How are you going to do that? And when you only have 20 blocks to work with, and we know that, then that means we have to strip away all the stuff that you don't need. This is why we don't have skill work in a lot of our programs. This is why we don't, focus on a lot of other things that we just don't find necessary. Like if you want to practice double unders, like go for it. We put double unders in our programming. If you have the time, practice them. But the reason we're not going to waste a precious block is because if we use one of our blocks, that's a significant portion of the overall week that we have to make sure that you're going to meet your goals, what you want us to do. And so that's why we have to be so selective in what we put in our training. But how things have changed is focus. Now that we have 6 different tracks, like we're not going to jump around a lot. Like we used to, like hard to kill would flip. It'd be like, okay, hard to kill is going to go like, we would do some strength with an aerobic focus. And then we would do more of an aerobic focus with maybe a power speed type minor. We call majors and minors and all these things. We're not really doing that anymore because we don't have to. We have 6 different tracks now, all with different goals. So now each track can get laser focused on just doing what it was meant to do. And, they make pretty good sense if you just take a look at them. Like hard to kill is well-balanced training, endure is endurance training, so on and so forth. So that's how things have changed. We're not going to do a lot of flipping and flopping. Our tracks are just going to get now laser focused because they don't need to, meld into each other or like cross over at all. We just get to focus on making really good athletes in your chosen track and your chosen goals. And so I think really this is like how we scale our training. When I mean scale our training is like, this is how we compound your results. We go from linear to like a geometric equation here of helping people see results faster, because now each one of these blocks can be laser focused on helping you see your goal, given your track. So the selection of your track now is very, very important. So let's talk about it. I gave an internal name to all of the programs based off of, I've just been doing some research right now, but on people who have done expeditions in Antarctica. So just because there's a lot of grit involved, I'm writing a book on this stuff right now. So that's why they have the names that they do, very different than our typical names. But this is O'Brady. So if you guys didn't know, Colin O'Brady, first person to cross Antarctica unassisted, completely unassisted. And so the reason I am naming, I think VD has a different name for it because he's the one who actually programmed it. But I named it O'Brady because the only reason Colin O'Brady is able to do that unassisted is because of all the cool, fancy, sexy technology that we have now in 2019. He actually just did it last year, in 2018. That's the only reason he was able to do that unassisted and all the stuff that we have. And that's really how I see Shred is like, VD is pulling out every thing, every hot, sexy topic that, when it comes to programming for Shred, that it's taken years and years of research and, getting to this point where we have a lot of knowledge about how to affect that change in the human body and everything. Anyway, that's why we're calling it O'Brady. Now I want to show you the blocks and talk about it a little bit. So as you can see right here, I've listed out 20 blocks. And in our training, our methodology, every track is going to have balance blocks. We require at least 5 balance blocks in every track. So you see that on the green to the right. So those are balance blocks right there. We have 5 of them. You might be asking, okay, what are balance blocks? Balance blocks are things like making sure you're not only working on the sagittal plane, you're also working on transverse, being able to twist, bend, do all the other things that are keep you healthy. We're going to make sure that we're hitting hamstrings, ligaments, the forgotten muscles, all the little stuff that a lot of people can forget about training. Like it's easy to just go back squat heavy and run fast, right? Or in the case of Shred, maybe just do a little morning cardio and then do some hypertrophy work in the afternoon. But there's a lot of other stuff that you can forget. So we always require at least 5 balance blocks to make sure that we're taking care of the athlete, beyond just your goal. So we have those 5 balance blocks in Shred. And then we're starting off here. This changes each wave. So this is the first 4-week wave. But then it's sustained. So sustained for us is more aerobic endurance. And we can do that in multiple ways. We can do that in more CrossFit style AMRAP workouts, but we also do that with a lot of, interval training or just straight, putting in the work. So like 20-minute run, 10-minute run, something like that. So that's what you're looking at. And then lastly, muscle endurance is what the END is for, but hyper is hypertrophy. So that's muscle growth type stuff. And this is all body composition work. These are the things you want your muscles doing. So this is on a weekly basis, 20 blocks. So 10 blocks, you're going to be focusing on hypertrophy, muscle growth, muscle endurance. So things that are going to help body composition. And then sustain. The reason VD programmed that in there is because all that's going to do is make your body really efficient. It's going to make you recover better. And then it's also going to help you burn fat better than most other human beings out there. And then I already explained the balance blocks and why we have them. But that is O'Brady, that is Shred, and that is why we do what we're doing. So if you are looking to change your body composition, either direction, remember the steering wheel metaphor. If you want to gain some muscle, yes, you can do that here. If you want to lose some fat, yes, you can do that here, but you need to dial in your lifestyle parameters and you need to dial in your nutrition parameters. So those are the two things that you really need to focus on more than all the other tracks, to be honest. If you have any sort of body composition goal, it is overwhelmingly important that your lifestyle is dialed in. Like you need to, reduce stress. You need to get sleep, drink water, get vitamin D. You need to do all these other things and do the training. So body composition goals are a little bit harder to achieve than performance, like straight performance sometimes, because how much your body needs to be kind of like dialed in with all these things. So just think about that. If you have a body composition goal, no matter what that is, Shred Track will get you there. Just really start thinking about those lifestyle parameters and where you're at. And is it realistic? If everything I talked about just now, you're like, well, I sleep like crap. I don't drink water. My nutrition's not real good. I'm not saying that you necessarily have to be on a different track. I'm saying you should probably fix those things and do everything in your power to fix one or two of those things. Maybe that can be your goal for the cycle. Next, hard to kill. So this looks a little bit different, right? So hard to kill is called Falcon. And that is because of another Antarctica expeditioner, Robert Falcon Scott was his name. And he actually died. I want to throw that out there first. He did die on his last expedition, but he crossed Antarctica, made it to the South Pole multiple times. But the real reason I wanted to write it is because I read through his journals a lot and researching some of the writing I'm doing right now. And one little quote he put in there was so awesome. He said that we're finding comfort in strenuous circumstances. Now, this is just like a straight journal, handwritten journal they pulled off of his, frozen corpse, right? Like, pretty crazy stuff. And he wrote in there, we're finding comfort in strenuous circumstances. So the epitome of, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that's such a big thing in our hard to kill track. Now I'll talk about the blocks a little bit more, but you can see that we focus a lot on strength and power. We always do in hard to kill to some degree. We always do. So you're going to have 10 blocks. And in those 10 blocks, we're going to try to get you really strong. We're doing a lot of cluster style training. This is something that we've been testing, and we're going to be doing on the strength track a little bit as well, but cluster sets. So, we'll explain those a little bit more in the app if you've never done them. But if you want to do 4 sets of 6 at 85%, that's going to be hard because 6 reps at 85% is really, really difficult. Difficult for people to pull off. But what if we broke those sets into 2 reps at a time and we only rested 20 seconds in between each 2, right? So those are cluster sets. And what we're doing is your body gets to see more of that, top end simulation. So that 85%, and you get these really short burst rests in between your strength training. And the research behind cluster sets is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So we'll be doing that a lot towards the beginning of the cycle, and then we will transition a little bit towards the end of the cycle to some more rest pause training, things like that we've done in hard to kill before, but we're going to blend it all. Now, one thing you'll see that's different in hard to kill versus every other track is look at those balance blocks. And this was not true until this cycle, because we call it a major and a minor. So what you see with VD's programming at the top, his hypertrophy endurance on Shred is his major. His minor is sustain, and then his balance, because we need those balance. And we used to do that in hard to kill. We used to be like, okay, strength power will be the major. We'll have a minor of something else, but we don't need to do that anymore. And so what we do now is strength and power. And then I get a lot of blocks to program now with hard to kill to balance you out. And I'm going to balance you out beyond just what I was talking about with, making sure that we're doing abdominals and hamstrings and ligaments and stuff. I balance out the other blocks that I have. I use those to hit every single energy system. to make sure that we're doing power endurance, to make sure that we're doing muscle endurance, to make sure that we're doing everything. So over the course of a month, every single month at Hard to Kill Track, you're going to see every area that we train. And I listed them out last webinar, and I don't want to again because I really feel like that confused people. But we have 13 different areas that we train. These are just like physiological areas. We have 13 different areas that we train and what we teach in our coaching course. And Hard to Kill, you'll see all 13 of those over the course of every 30 days. That's not true of every other track. That's not to say Hard to Kill is better or worse. It's just different. It's just very different, very balanced compared to everywhere else. And if you're just looking for like extreme balance in athletic training, Hard to Kill is the place to be. And it'll get you prepared for just about everything and anything, but it won't make you the best at them, if that makes sense. Like if you want to run a half marathon, Hard to Kill can probably make sure that you will finish the half marathon, but you won't be first place. If that makes sense. So just that's what Hard to Kill is about. By far, Hard to Kill is our most popular track. And if you have the slightest bit of training ADD, like I have to keep things interesting and different, then I also like for people to factor that in. And I think that's why a lot of people enjoy Hard to Kill, because sometimes getting better, like on the shred track or getting better on the endure track, is going to be boring. It's just going to be boring putting in the work, but you know what you have to do to achieve that goal. Hard to Kill, you can have that training ADD a little bit and not have to program hop, because each week, other than the structure, the strength is going to be like dramatically different. And so it keeps your interest going. So keep that in mind, kind of the human element there of what you'll actually stick to. And then we have Endure. So Shackleton. So Sir Ernest Shackleton, he was the one who wrote that ad, men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, safe return, doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. And so that's why we named this one after him. He also had, like, if you read a little bit more about him, his boat was actually called, or his ship was actually called Endurance. So, it's really cool. And not to mention his ship being named that, he also did some pretty phenomenal endurance feats on expeditions himself, and did some really cool stuff. So this is Shackleton with Endure. And as you can see, we ramp up the blocks on sustain. So aerobic endurance, we're going to be putting in 10 blocks per week, and then 5 blocks per week on strength. And then obviously those balance blocks there for the Endure track. And this is what we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future. Anyone who's getting ready to start with us on the Endure track, I want you to know a few things. We're going to start off the first 4 weeks, which is with what we're going to be calling, or what would realistically be called a low volume endurance program. So we're not going crazy right off the bat. So if you're looking to get into endurance training, now is a great time to start, because we will start ramping things up each 4-week wave, and things will get a little bit, crazier. Sometimes we will push beyond 5 blocks. We'll keep it at 5 blocks for a while, but sometimes we'll go 6 blocks and leave things optional. But just in all honesty, if you're training for a long endurance event, you can't always just train 50 minutes. So sometimes we'll put in those endurance things. It's not something you have to do every day. But we are going to add some optional stuff in there. If you just want to build up your aerobic engine, you'll never need to go past 5 blocks. But if you have a specific race that you're coming up for, like I'm doing a 100-mile bike race this summer, I'm going to start training probably just once or twice a week, a little bit beyond 5 blocks. I'll go to 6, 7 blocks, just to get ready, get time on the bike, things like that, to make sure that I'm ready for that event and I can do well and won't die, right? So this is Endure. Really glad to be releasing it to you guys. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know. And one big thing I just want everyone to know, which I haven't answered yet, maybe it was already a question, but I haven't looked at the questions, is you're going to get sample training for every single track. So we're going to send it out possibly later today. We got to put some finishing touches on it. If not today, then it'll be first thing in the morning when I send out 5 Line Friday. But we just need to polish it up a little bit. Everything else is done, and let you guys see it, and then you can see. But what I like to explain is like kind of big picture overview stuff. Because another thing that we're doing in the Endure track, we're obviously going to be focusing a lot on strength training, but we're also going to be focusing on power endurance quite a bit every other week. So we're going to be doing a lot of power endurance, because if you've ever ridden a bike or run long distances, you'll realize that power endurance is very important. Being able to hold power for long periods of time is very important to an endurance athlete. And so we'll be focusing a lot on that every other week. It's not always going to be in there because it's a little bit taxing, but that's what we'll be doing. All right. Now, the last one I'll really be talking about, Roald Amundsen. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but he was the first to make it to the South Pole and the first human being to make it both to the South and North Pole. And complete madness. Just this dude was insane, had to be a little bit crazy. And that's how we're kicking off the strength track. We do this about 2 to 3 times per year with PR Madness. And so that's what we're doing. We are starting off with PR Madness for the first 4 weeks and then running into kind of what I talked about in Hard to Kill. We'll be doing some cluster set training, some new stuff, but we like to get people some quick wins at the strength on the strength track. So we'll be doing PR Madness. Some of you probably run through it a few times. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, the PR Madness is such well-programmed strength that you're going to see some results. And then what you roll into after that is going to be the best compliment I think we've ever done to PR Madness. And that'll be our cluster training that I talked about Hard to Kill. So as you can see, we focus on strength just as much as we do in Hard to Kill. It's just different. It's a little bit different training and a little bit higher volume if I had to break it out. So on Hard to Kill, yes, strength, power, focus, but it's low volume strength, power, focus because we're doing so many other things. Strength is a strength and power focus, but higher volume. So if you want to know what's the real difference there, they're not a carbon copy of one another. They're just the same area of training. And now we have 5 blocks towards gain. Gain is that low end conditioning that we want people to focus on. So creatine phosphate energy system to make you powerful. So really quick muscle contractions, very short duration stuff, because if you want to get stronger, you don't need a lot of aerobic endurance. You don't need really much else other than conditioning that's going to make you better at strength training. And that's what we do. So gain is our conditioning and it's short duration stuff. And then we have those balance blocks to make sure that you're really well taken care of. All right. Let's see. That's all of them. I'm going to grab a sip of water for 1 second and let you guys look at these for a second. Now you might be asking, okay, what about 3 block? What about no gear? Great question. So 3 block, we're doing something different. Right now, 3 block has been more of a kind of like a shortened version, an abbreviated version of Hard to Kill. We've had to make some changes because that doesn't always just work for it to be a shortened version, but we have to program things a little bit differently. So 3 block, weeks 1 through 4 of 3 block will be following an abbreviated version of Falcon. And then weeks 5 through 8 will be following an abbreviated version of O'Brady from Shred. And then weeks 9 through 12, strength track will be following an abbreviated version of Munson. Man, should have practiced that a little bit more. Anyway, so that's how 3 block is going to work. So we got 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. You're going to get, it's almost like a sampler, but the way I'm putting them together is to where it's still progressive and that people can still see results. So I basically have to pick the proper things from each programming to make sure people are seeing progress. But that's what we're doing. That way, if someone joins 3 blocks for just 4 weeks, then you can see it from beginning to end and you'll see results in that given area. And then if you see it across all 12 weeks, the 3 block track, that'll be really good because now we can make sure that you're not missing any areas, because if you just do Hard to Kill, maybe we left out some training that you could have improved on in a different area. Well, Shred's going to make up for that. And it's like, well, we didn't focus enough on strength. So boom, right? You move into more strength work. And so over the course of 12 weeks, it becomes really, really well-rounded. And so that's what we're doing with 3 block. And then no gear is just going to do what it's always done, which basically mimics what we have going on at Hard to Kill track. So that is how no gear works and always has. So that's them one more time. The 4 different main cycles, and then the other 2 tracks just kind of follow, like I said, based off of those. And let's see, questions. That pretty much sums everything up for me. I can go here, see if it looks like a lot of these questions Joe already answered. Yeah, someone was asked who does the programming. I'm doing the programming for Endure right now. That might change later on. All right. Yeah, it looks like Joe got most of these questions answered. If you guys have any more, let's see, open. If I've signed up for a Spartan race, Endure, or H2K, that'd be my follow-up question. So super distance, I would say you'll be fine on Hard to Kill unless you feel like your endurance is really suffering. If your endurance is not real good, like you don't have a lot of confidence in it, then I would do EndureTrack. But if you feel like you kind of feel well-rounded right now, Hard to Kill will take care of a super for sure. I think that it will. And then if you're going beast or above, then definitely be on the EndureTrack. Best track for racing 400 meters. That would, to be honest, Hard to Kill. And I also kind of want to say Strength. The only reason I want to say Strength is because all the conditioning we do is short burst conditioning. So if you just did a lot of the sprint work in the strength track, that would probably be good. And there's a lot of strength training in sprint, in sprinting anyway. I used to be a sprinter myself. All right, I have started with strength, now finishing Hard to Kill. I'm doing some exercises scaled as pull-ups. How do I transition? Want to continue to build strength, enjoy CrossFit type workouts, ollie lifts, and WODs. So how do you transition? Well, really, like, you got to find out if you're ready. So we recommend whatever you are doing, whatever you're scaling, keep with that scale. Don't switch. So like if you can't do a pull-up yet, do ring rows and keep doing ring rows until you can double the amount of ring rows you can do, and make the ring rows harder and harder by, elevating your feet further and further. And then once you feel like you're getting pretty good at those, go to a pull-up bar and give it a try, and stick with that same thing. And same with pull-ups. So if you, push-ups, if you've been on your knees or whatever you've been doing to scale or a wall or however you're doing it, just make it harder and harder and harder until you can go try the other version of it. And, you'll finally make that transition. It'll be pretty apparent if you can or can't do it. We're still going to be hitting strength PRs on Endure. So I want to take that one too, Joe. So will you hit strength PRs on Endure? That Joe's answer is good, but it's like an experiment. Like that's kind of what we have. That's kind of what we're going to find out. So true polar opposites would be hypertrophy. So building muscle and endurance training, that's really hard to do, but just getting stronger. We're going to try some really low volume strength, but high intensity. So high percentages. And my guess is you're not going to hit like gigantic strength PRs, but you're not going to get weaker. Like I've always said that about every single track. Like it's not okay, I think, for anyone to get weaker, period. So it's going to be an experiment here. It'll be really good endurance training. And then the first PR, the first fit week will be awesome to see what happens. I'll be on the EndureTrack. If anyone's wondering, like I will be on it. Fit week with No Gear. No Gear typically tests the one-man system as its baseline, since it's hard to do some of the other ones. We load Fit week because a lot of them you can still do. And Joe, I can answer the questions, man, if you don't want to have to type them out anymore. And so you don't have to worry about having the equipment with certain ones like 400-meter run or 1.5 mile run, all that stuff, pull-ups, dips. There are a lot of things that are already geared that direction. But also we recommend people doing the one-man system test. And rookie question here, does volume refer to weight or reps and sets? So volume is sets times reps times weight. So add all that up as your total or multiply all that up, and that's your total volume. I think there's some questions coming in the chat. All right. Lauren says, would you recommend much additional training on EndureTrack if preparing for a marathon? I don't think so. It really comes down to being competitive. Like I said, I'm using the EndureTrack personally to prepare for a 100-mile bike race, which might be the marathon equivalent of running. So I'm not going to use anything different other than EndureTrack. So no, you won't need to. Sample programming getting released for the next cycle this week. Yes, it's getting released either later today or tomorrow morning. Able to compare, contrast shred with Renaissance periodization, male physique template. No, I'm not. I do not look at other people's training because it is far inferior to ours. Strongman training, I need to keep my strength, but need to work on my endurance for strongman competitions. Stick with strength track. Absolutely. Are we getting GGA PRs or all time? Just finished my first 12-week cycle. Typically whatever you have logged with us. So As long as you have a baseline, we don't count baselines. Like if you've never tested the back squat, that's a baseline, not a PR. But if you have recorded both, like you said, you're finishing up a 12-week cycle. So if you hit your back squat was 300 at the beginning of the program from a test, and now it's 355, and we can see that in the system, that they are both logged like that way, then we can see it as a PR, and then you could submit your PR shirt. All right, what else we have? Best track if you're training for 6 to 12 hour adventure race, but still drop 20 to 25 pounds. Endure just because of that distance. Just because of the distance. 6 to 12 hours, I think that you should be on the Endure track. And you definitely will probably lose some weight if you are doing the Endure track. Just watch your caloric intake. I've been on H2K and I have CrossFit competition coming up in May. Should I stick with H2K? H2K is going to have the most metabolic condition, the Metcon style, CrossFit style workouts in it over any other track. Shred will have some of that too. So you could go either way. Strength would not be a good idea. Like if you need to get stronger, that's fine, but you're not going to get to practice a lot of WODs, if you will. Which track would be best for improving mile time? Hard to Kill. Hard to Kill will get you the fastest mile time you've ever run in your entire life. Joe may have said that when an employee was asking me a question because it didn't hear if sample tracks were coming, I did, of course, see the blocks and names of the explorers, etc. Yeah, Joe. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. No worries, man. We're sending out the sample training, and we will make a big deal out of it. Post it in the group and email it out, and make sure everyone could see it. That's where I think people make the most informed decision about whether or not they should switch is after they can actually see it. So what we do now is we put it all in one single PDF so you can see each week. It's only the first week, so we're not doing like month overviews or anything like that, maybe sometime in the future. But right now you get to see the first week and see what would be most interesting for you. Would you recommend any dietary changes on the endurance track if already eating well? I really think on the endurance track, you just need to start tracking recovery. And I've talked about some of this stuff in the group on how to track recovery, if that sounds like arbitrary. But if you want to make sure that you're not under eating, make sure that you're getting enough calories, because going at a caloric deficit is not always the answer if people want to lose weight or whatever. So if you're eating pretty well, then I would just make sure that you're getting enough calories to fuel your training. Best track for body maintenance. Yeah, if you're just looking for body composition type stuff, then it's definitely going to be Shred track, body composition. Got you, man. Well, I appreciate you coming. And I'm just I'm just messing around. I just actually don't know anything about anybody else's training. Like we're so entrenched in our own. I would hardly have time to go buy someone else's program and look at it. Like if anyone wants to send me a program and you want me to compare directly to our training, I could definitely do that. But I do take a pretty strong stance on the awesomeness of our programming, as I should. I think that makes sense. Cool. I think that, if you want to send me anything, I'll take a look at it and help you tell you why we're awesome and how we're different. I guess would be the easiest way for me to put it. All right, guys, I'm excited. We have a lot of new stuff. Don't forget about all that stuff we had at the beginning. App nuggets, maybe my favorite, patches, goal system, a lot of stuff coming your way, and it's going to be really cool to keep you on track this cycle. So we will be doing all that. I think that is everything. I think some people are asking questions in the Facebook group, but I think Joe's helping out. All right, cool. All right, guys, we're going to cut the webinar. If you guys have any questions, follow up in the Facebook group or email us, whatever. We're here to answer your questions. There is no stupid question when it comes to, your training and your results. So if you're wondering how you should eat, if you're wondering what you should do, anything, please ask us. We want to make sure that we get you an answer to your question. So follow up with us however you see fit, whether that's Facebook group, email, whatever, and we will get your question answered. Very important for us to do that. But get ready, crush it, Fit Week. The only thing I ask for all the athletes still here, Fit Week is our Super Bowl as Garage Gym athletes. Cut the alcohol, get the sleep, drink the water, eat the food, do everything right this 1 week. This 1 week is your week. Push it hard, stop training, start testing, and make it count. And I'll end on that one. Peace out, guys.